The Late Night Legends podcast is meant for an adult audience only. It may contain sexually oriented content. Content may not be suitable for sensitive listeners. Please be aware of your surroundings. Listener discretion is advised. Watch out.
Flashlight shows you something moving just inside the door. There's a tattered dress and a feeling you have felt somewhere before. And there's a creepy doll that always follows you. It's got a ruined eye, it's always open. And there's a creepy doll that always follows you. It's got a pretty mouth to swallow you whole. So you scream and you close the door and you tell yourself it was just a dream. In the morning you head into town 'cause you wanna go antiquing. In the store there's a strange old man with a wandering eye and a withered hand. When he hands you the old wooden box you can hear his old bones creaking. And you know what you will find inside the moment that you see.
Hello and welcome to Late Night Legends.
Someone's carved your
I am your host that is going to scare people, and apparently I'm still labeled as Justin's roommate. Let's change that to something else later on in the episode.
Mythologist.
You are a mythologist. But I am Joan. I'm here with our other legend host tonight, Kay, who is going to be presenting about haunted artifacts, and Charlie, who's just here to enjoy the ride for right now and probably give some commentary on the whole thing. As you can see, we are missing a whole bunch of friends. They told us that we are stinky and smelly and they don't want to hang out with us in a virtual setting. So we are missing Frank, Jesse, James tonight. They will be back. Frank is actually going to be coming back not this next week, but the week after. And Jesse and James will be coming back in September. They're all on enjoying their time off. As another quick announcement, next week we will not be doing a live episode. All of us decided to have lives on Monday night. It was not in our contracts, but we don't get paid, so we do whatever we want. But we are going to be doing a pre-recorded episode, so you'll have to see that on the YouTubes. Mostly in other places that sometimes we put videos, but mostly the YouTubes. And that will be the following Sunday that will come out. And we'll put a reminder out on our social media about that as well. Just so, you know, the people who do come in want to chill out and hang out with us live aren't like, hey, where are my friends? I'm going, I don't know, doing stuff. So as tonight I mentioned, we will be doing haunted artifacts coming next week, not live, but later on. We're going to be talking about Boekendrijders, which I think is how you pronounce it, but it's also known as Buckriders. It's a Dutch folklore. And then after that, we're going to be talking about the Edgefield Multnomah County Poorhouse, and it's going to be presented by Charlie. I probably said that wrong. He's giving me a look, so
I love the lilt you gave it. The Multnomah.
Multnomah. I don't know. But Charlie's going to be presenting for the first time ever, and maybe the last time, because we had to beg so hard. And then we're going to be getting into some of our spooky... Well, actually, that's not true. We have whole September. We don't know what we're doing in September yet. So that's what we're going to get into. So... that being said, is there any further announcements, my friends? Oh,
Yes.
the stream does not need to see that. Sorry, they didn't see anything yet.
Okay.
They might have almost saw a Discord chat, and I
Joan
don't
has
need them to
announcement.
that.
She is doxing herself.
I am
She is-
doxing our Discord right now pretty hard.
Hey, go ahead and just join our Discord.
You should do that.
Way
You
to
should
go,
do that
Charlie.
yeah, but not the staff chat where I'm asking for stuff.
Yeah, definitely not that one.
Yeah, hey, Charlie, when you edit this, can you edit that out if it came up? I don't think it did, but just in case.
I'll check, yes.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Okay, anyway, I just wanted to watch the live chat just in case. I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, any other announcements besides doxing all of our chats?
I believe so.
Cool. Kay, do you want to tell us about some haunted artifacts?
I would love to.
Awesome.
So there are a ton of haunted artifacts, and I decided to pick 3 because there's going to have to be more shows about this. There's so many haunted artifacts that you just can't talk about all of them tonight. So, 2 of the ones that I want to start with are dolls, because I feel like that is a buzzword. You have to talk about them when you talk about haunted artifacts. So I guess we should just approach the elephant in the room. Her name's Annabelle.
Okay.
I will not be talking about her because everybody knows Annabelle.
Oh, beautiful. Perfect. Speaking of Annabelle, we have something in the works where we might be talking with another person. I'm not going to say how they're related to us or anything else, who covers Annabelle and some stuff that you might not know about it if you only watched the movies. So, yeah. Just a plug for the future.
Well, that sounds exciting. So we won't talk about her today because we have exciting things in the works for her later down on the road. In the road, something. I don't know. Okay, another famous doll. I'd say really, except for movies, cinema, this doll is probably right up there with Annabelle, if not a little bit more popular. And that is Robert the doll. Have you guys heard of Robert the doll?
So not only have I heard of Robert, fun fact, also, no one look for 1 second while... Can you two turn yourselves up a little bit? Frank's giving a note saying he wants to hear us screaming more.
Is it just on here?
I don't know. I don't know why you're quiet.
Am I any louder?
Frank, if you're listening to us, they're on loudest they can go on to all of my things. We'll see if he listens to me. Okay.
We need Justin from last week when he was putting his mouth over the microphone.
I know. I left that in. I hope you guys know.
He is texting me. He's not on the Discord or anything. He's just texting me. OBS slider. Yeah, I already did that. It's out of the way. I can't do more.
I can get really close to the mic.
Hold on. Let me check that it's right.
Yes.
Tansy, what are you doing?
Hi. Bye-bye. I'm checking that right now, Frank. Checking my computer output. Can you guys talk now? Nope. Now you're quiet. Now y'all are not talking at all.
What?
Let me go the other way.
Okay.
Is your volume up.
Now, hold
Frank.
on.
How about now?
Guys, talk again. Just sing the ABCs for me.
E, E, F, G.
How about that one, Frank? Oh, hold on. They can't see that. Do it again. Sing for me, my angel of
Hey.
music.
C, D, E, F, G.
Thank you. I figured it out.
Better?
Yeah, it was me. It was always me. I lost power today, and if anyone has ever lost power for an extended amount of time, everything gets ruined. Everything is not where it was. Okay, and then also Justin unplugged everything and replugged it in. So anyway, what I was saying is, yes, I've not only heard of Robert the doll, because fun fact, one of my biggest fears is dolls. I do not like them at all. We are going to go to Key West with my family sometime in the year. I'm not telling you freaks because I don't want you coming near me. And I made sure on the list of things to do was see Robert the doll.
Oh man, you will have to send us pictures.
I
if
will.
You're able to take a picture, Robert.
Oh. The other thing, just a quick note, I'm going to go to the Ernest Hemingway Museum. Like, that's in his house. But not because I care about Ernest Hemingway in any way. I just want to see the feral cats. 'Cause apparently there's like 40 cats.
Yes. No, my grandma went, and that was all she cared about. Well, I mean, she likes Hemingway, I guess, to some extent, but the cats was really. She had so many pictures of the cat.
That's so funny.
So, okay. Yeah, so Robert the doll.
Yeah, Robert the Doll. So, the story of Robert the Doll dates back to the early 1900s when a young boy named Eugene Robert Otto was given a one-of-a-kind handmade doll by a servant that worked for his parents in the home. Eugene, who everyone called Gene, named the doll Robert and quickly became attached to his new friend. While he seemed like an ordinary cloth doll, it wasn't long before Robert was involved in strange and somewhat terrifying events. The first hint that something was out of the ordinary was happening was one night when Gene, who was only 10 years old, awoke to find Robert the doll sitting at the end of his bed staring at him. Moments later, his mother was awakened by his screams for help and the sounds of furniture being overturned in her son's bedroom. Gene cried for help, begging his mother to rescue him. When she was finally able to wrench the locked door open, she saw poor Gene curled up in fear on his bed, his room in shambles, and Robert the doll sitting at the foot of the bed. "Robert did it," were the only words Gene could get out, the same words he would later use many times throughout his childhood when something strange, mysterious, or destructive would happen. So, this went on for many years. His parents reported hearing Gene speak to Robert upstairs in his room, and then they would hear Robert speaking back to him in a completely different voice. Not like, "Hey, Robert, how you doing today?" "I'm good, Gene. How are you doing?" It was a completely different voice. Not a voice that a 10-year-old could make back. So it sounded nothing like their son. They also reported seeing Robert speak as well as his facial expressions changing. They saw glimpses of the doll running up their staircase, and then also would see him peering out of an upstairs window, which was super weird. Eventually, the parents passed away. Gene got married, and his wife did not like Robert. She felt really uncomfortable with him.
Oh, why? Why would that be? How could someone not adore little old Robert coming in?
Yeah. So she begged Gene to let her lock Robert in the attic, and eventually he finally agreed. His wife was a little bit more important than the doll, and he understood. He got why the doll was a little creepy. So they locked Robert in the attic.
Before you go, before you go on, you're married. I'm married. Do you think you'd ever have to beg your husband to lock a childhood toy away?
I don't think so.
I think I'd have to ask one time, hey, not a big fan. Can we put that someplace else? The begging's a little concerning, because how did that conversation play out? Hey, can you put your childhood toy away? And he was like, but he talks to me. He's my friend.
Right. It's me or the haunted doll.
Yeah. But you can imagine he was given this doll when he was very young and grew up with it, talked to it all the time. It talked back to him. I don't know. But at the same time, he was terrified of this doll. He'd wake up and it'd be sitting on the end of his bed staring at him. So I think he was like, well, it was my friend while I was growing up, but I get it. He creeps me a little bit too.
I feel like we need to talk about boundaries with our friends. And if you wake up and your friend's at the end of your bed, maybe you shouldn't be friends with them. I say that, and I have a story about a friend who slept. I don't know if she sleepwalked, but she was very drunk. We were quick story. We were at a house at the Jersey Shore, and we had there was 3 bedrooms in a row, and across from our bedroom is the bathroom. And this friend had been drinking. She gets up, and my husband and I are in 2 separate twin beds. And I hear her walk into the room and sit at the edge of my bed. And I'm like, hey, friend, what are you doing? And she looks at me and she goes, move. And I'm like, I'm already at the edge of the bed, girl. It's a twin bed. I was like, friend. I'm trying not to say her name. Like, friend, this is not your bed. And she like looks at me and gets up and then turns and then just stares at Justin. And I go, that's not your bed either. And she like walks and like we had a suitcase in the way. So she just stares at the suitcase and I like get out of bed and like push her into the hallway and like point her in the direction. I'm like, your room's there. And I close the door. We wake up in the morning and everyone's like, how'd you sleep? And I was like, I was great until friend came in. And she was like, what? And I was like, you did this. She goes, I have absolutely no memory of doing any of that.
I bet you she was sleepwalking.
Probably. But the joke is now anytime something happens, we look at her and we go, move.
Oh gosh.
So yeah, I mean, you can enforce boundaries, but I don't think the doll was drunk.
Probably not.
Probably.
The doll was spiteful though.
Okay.
Because he got locked in the attic and he did not like that.
Oh.
They start hearing footsteps up in the attic. Nice. And then what really freaked him out is Gene overheard some school-age children talking about how they saw Robert in the window. Not the attic window. The bedroom window. Yep. And he was like, that's not possible because I locked that doll in the attic. And he ran inside, ran upstairs, and finds Robert sitting facing out the window in the bedroom, not the attic.
And I throw up with fear on the doll. Like, go away.
So he picks up the doll and locks it back in the attic. And Robert broke out of the attic to go sit by that window to watch school children walk by multiple times.
Well, now I feel a different kind of disgust.
I mean, okay,
when you put it that way.
Okay, he was watching everyone. He was not just watching children.
When you say his motivation was to watch school children on their way home, and this doll is old by now. I don't.
Robert, you a freak. Okay.
Ooh, ew.
Okay, so yeah, they're like, okay, that's great, but Gene doesn't get rid of him. Gene keeps him in the attic until he dies. He died in 1974. A new couple moves into the house. They have a 10-year-old daughter. Daughter's looking around the house, goes up into the attic, and finds Robert. Immediately has a horrible feeling and tells her parents, I think this doll wants to hurt me. Like, This is a bad doll. She would often wake up screaming and claim that Robert was walking around her room. And her parents did the right thing and they said nope and they got rid of him. So he now lives in that museum that Jonah is going to visit at an undisclosed time.
Yeah.
He has been seen by multiple people moving. A staff member at the museum has seen him raise his hand up and put it up against the glass. They've seen his expression change. And most famously, it is very difficult to take a picture of Robert. Robert does not like his photo taken unless he gives the okay to do so.
I mean, consent is fair. I understand.
That's hypocritical coming from the haunted doll that sits on your bed. Like,
it really.
Don't take a picture of me, but I'll do whatever I want.
Yeah, rules for thee, not for me, Robert. I feel like I should question him and his motives for watching children. If that doll moves, I will throw up actively. And I don't know. Maybe I should I don't know. I'm just gonna be like, hey, Robert, Bobby, if I can. I don't know.
I may.
If I may. I don't know if you'll let me call you that. Let's not watch kids. Let's not. But also, if you move, I'm gonna die right here and now. So
He might move for you.
oh my god. So I've never like seen a ghost, and I joke it's because I want to so badly that like it gives off a desperate vibe, and the ghosts kind of find me gross. They're like, ew, no, don't be so desperate. If I don't want that doll to move and it moves,
Yeah.
He's just gonna throw up.
It's like a cat who always finds the person with the cat allergy.
yeah,
It's the same kind of energy.
I will throw up and cry, and people will be like, "What's wrong with you?" And then I'll go to the Ernest Hemingway house and I'll pet a cat and I'll explain all my problems to it. If that happens, I will not be returning to the show. I will tell everyone in the Discord, like my final like will and testament, but that's about it. So
That seems fair. That seems fair.
But
Yeah,
I think we could get Robert to replace you. Yeah, he could.
If you could, you know what? Fair trade.
You should ask him if he wants to be on. Just a
You
thought.
you should try asking him if you can take a picture of him. Because
I will.
some people will like raise their cameras up and try to take a photo of him, and their camera completely malfunctions. And then as soon as they leave the museum, their camera starts working again. No problem. Yeah, so maybe ask him very nicely, Robert, can I take your photo?
I'm like, hey Robert, we have a difference in opinions about a lot of things. I do respect your bodily autonomy. Your autonomy? I don't want to call it bodily because it makes it more upsetting. I respect your autonomy. May I please have this photo? And I'll do a little bow, like I'm gonna dance with it, and then go, oh wait, no, and they'll pull up my camera.
Just looking at a picture, he's kind of a cute guy.
So
Bad.
I've also heard that the reason, so if you look at Robert the doll, he looks a little off for a doll. And I heard that, and I don't know if this is true, that he originally was not like a commercial like doll that's a toy. He was actually a store mannequin. Like a display mannequin for like something that happened. And also, the little sailor outfit that he has was custom made to be the same as Eugene's, which really upsets me in my mind. I guess that's like an American Girl doll, which I never had, but also I hate it.
Oh.
Not the American Girl doll. I hate it looking like me.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I wish you luck with your Robert encounter. Please
Me
let
too.
us know how it goes.
Will do.
If anybody has had an encounter with Robert, if you've gotten a photo of Robert, let us know.
Yeah,
We want to hear about it.
we do.
Okay, the next doll that I'm going to talk about comes with a disclaimer. So I want to say that people have reported getting sick when they have looked at a photo of this doll online. This doll is rumored to be able to hurt you through screens. So, with that being said, look this doll up at your own risk. Be safe. You don't want anything bad to happen to you. And it's specifically when you look at this doll's eyes. So, just take that warning as you may. So this doll's name is Peggy. In 24, it sounds so scary, right?
So, yes.
Peggy. Okay.
The worst form of Margaret, but it's fine.
So in 2014, a paranormal investigator, Jane Harns, was called by a woman who claimed that since buying a vintage doll, she'd been experiencing weird goings on and was unable to sleep. She became so spooked that she wrapped the doll in old carpet and put her in her shed. And once that doll went into her shed, it did not come back in her house. She wanted nothing to do with Peggy. And at this point, the doll is unnamed. So, unnamed doll, don't want it in my house. Wrap it in carpet.
Fair. Yeah.
She'd had terrible luck since she bought the doll. She hadn't been able to sleep. She was hearing footsteps and lights click on and off all night long. Just wanted to get rid of this doll. So Jane agreed to take the doll to do some investigations, and within 4 days began to feel ill. Specifically, just drained of all of her energy. Within 2 weeks of being in possession of this doll, she couldn't get out of bed. One of her friends was like, maybe it's the doll, and we should take this out of your house. And within a couple days, she's perfectly fine. No issue whatsoever. Jane ended up taking a photo of Peggy and posted it to her Facebook page about 8 p.m. one night, didn't think anything of it, went to bed. She woke up in the morning to over 80 messages of people reporting paranormal experiences and illnesses just from viewing the doll. Just the photo. People reported headaches, chest pain, their dogs barking and spinning in circles, hearing footsteps, and light bulbs burning out. A psychic medium got into contact with Jane after seeing the photo and claimed a woman named Peggy was haunting the doll, which is where the name Peggy comes from. Peggy now lives in Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum, where guests must sign a waiver to enter. Zach did a show on Ghost Adventures. I
want to watch Ghost Inventors. I want to watch Ghost Inventors. That sounds fun. But go on, Ghost Adventures.
Yeah. He did an episode where he met Peggy, and he said that they started experiencing a whole bunch of paranormal stuff when they were doing that. Like, crew members got sick. I think a camera broke. Poltergeist activity was happening. Take that with a grain of salt because it is a show. A lot of people have very particular feelings about Zach Bagans, whatever his name is. But that is where Peggy now is. And you do have to sign a waiver to go and see her. You can go and see her if you want. And a woman actually decided to go and visit Peggy at the museum because a couple years prior, she had seen a photo of Peggy and she had been experiencing a 3-day migraine attack. And as soon as she looked into Peggy's eyes, her migraine disappeared.
Oh,
so
wow.
She wanted to go see the doll and thank her because usually it has the opposite effect.
Mm-hmm.
So they set up a spirit box in front of Peggy's display before this woman went in to talk to her just to see if anything would happen. So the woman walks into the room and she says, "Hi, Peggy." And the spirit box says, "Hi, Dee." And that was her name. Her name had not been said out loud in the room. She hadn't introduced herself with her name. It just said, "Hi, Dee." And she said, "Peggy, do you remember a few years ago I had that migraine, that 3-day migraine attack, and when I gazed upon your photo, you instantly took my headache away, even though you normally give people headaches or nosebleeds?" And Peggy said, "I remember." "Well, Peg," which seems really flippant. She'd be like, "Well, Peg,
They were friends.
I'm here today to say thank you for doing that for me." And Peggy said, "Welcome. You're welcome."
Aww.
And she said, "Bye, Peggy, sweetie," as she was exiting the room. And she said, "Bye-bye, Dee. See you tomorrow."
Oh, wait, why? Do we have plans? I don't know. I feel like, wait, can you run that by me? What are we doing tomorrow?
Hold on. Hold
The
on.
spirit box said, "We're getting margs at Applebee's."
Come back around to Peg.
I wonder if, like, after hearing that, she had, like, any feeling subconsciously that she needed to go back and visit Peggy the next day.
I mean, I would feel obligated. I would like, yeah, what time works for you?
Yeah.
Do you want
Check my calendar?
Sure, Peg.
Sure, Peg. Yeah, whatever you say. And like you text the group chat, you're like, "I guess I'm hanging out with Peg tomorrow. Sorry, guys. You want to get brunch with Peg? She's nice. She's cool. She's nice." I will say that I had a headache, and since we started talking about her, it's gone away.
Whoa.
But also, it's probably gonna come back. I can feel it already. It's sinus pressure. It comes in waves.
Maybe just look at a photo of Peggy.
I like the whole time you said that, I kept going, look into my eyes and you will see. The whole time.
I also feel really bad because, Joan, we always message you our sources.
Yeah.
And so I sent you the source. I'm so sorry. I sent you the source for this article on Peggy, and that photo is Peggy.
Yeah, no, I know. I have. I'm one of those people that, since I have a fear of dolls, I've also done research on haunted dolls. I can name most of them. There is a comedy show just talking about haunted dolls, called My Brother and Me, which is and it's the McElroy brothers, and they had a bit for a while. I haven't listened in a couple of years, but they had a bit for a while where they would just do a haunted doll watch, and they would just read out eBay's like offers for haunted dolls that you could buy. So yeah, I have seen plenty of pictures of Peggy. We're well acquainted. I could pick her out at the Applebee's if I saw her. So
Having brunch with the group chat.
yeah.
She looks a bit more like an American Girl doll to me.
She does. But she also gives off very much Peggy energy. As a person who has had many Peggies in my family, she looks like a Peg.
Yeah, I sent that off, and I thought that it was just going to be text links, and then it popped up with, the cover photo, and I was like, oh gosh, there she is.
I mean, rude on them to put that as the cover photo when that's like
true.
what's going on. That's not your responsibility, so it's fine.
Yeah, I just didn't want to curse you or anything.
No, it's okay. I blame Dust and Pollen for what's going on in my head right now, not Peg and her beautiful blue eyes.
Oh, Dust and Pollen. I heard Dust and Pollen. I'm like, what is
Yeah,
that
Dust and Pollen.
Is that the next one we're going to talk about?
Dust and Pollen sounds like a country music star.
Yes.
It does.
Watch it be a country music star anyway.
Pollen.
It is now.
Is now.
Somebody out there's like, copyright that.
Because it's my name.
Okay, so we're gonna move away from dolls now.
Oh, cool. I'm so good with that.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about the crone of Catskills.
Oh, great. So next to me. So we're still in my region. Cool. Thank you. I love that.
You're gonna love this, Joan. Have you guys
I do love a
ever-
crone. I think I'm technically a crone right now, so I love that.
Have you guys heard of this one?
No.
Especially you, Joan, even with it being over by you?
No. I mean, the Catskills are 2 hours away. I've skied them.
Oh.
I used to drive past them when going to Vermont, but yeah. I don't know the lore of the Catskills.
I'm so excited for you to hear about this fun little item.
Me too.
Okay, so the two friends were hiking in the Catskills and found a creepy statue inside a cave. It had nails in its eyes and a noose around its neck, looking like it might be old. So I've got a photo in front of me, just to tell listeners who are on Spotify or only listening to the audio of this. It's pretty small. I'd say it's only like a foot to 18 inches tall. It's a darker wood, kind of like a tiki figure almost.
Oh.
And it's got 3 nails hammered into each eye. And then a newer looking little rope noose hanging off of it like a necklace.
Oh, cute.
So the figurine itself looks pretty old. The rope looks pretty new. But that's just kind of what it looks like. I will not be describing Peggy, but I will describe to you the crone of Catskills.
We're all looking it up right now. Oh, he's just okay. He's just a guy.
Yeah.
He is a guy.
So actually that comes into play later. It's not a guy.
Oh, it's not. I'm just kidding. He's not a guy.
It says it's an it.
You know what? I should have not assumed gender. They are just an it.
Doll. Non-binary haunted doll.
You know what? We love them thempers or whatever. Like the emperor. Yeah, thempers. Yeah. Kings, queens, and thempers. There we go. We love them. Here
So when I say this little guy, I mean guy, gender neutral. This little guy. They found this little guy in a cave. They were hiking around.
This buddy. It's a
This
buddy.
little buddy.
Yeah.
I like that. They found this little buddy in a cave. They were way off the beaten path. They said they didn't expect to find anything in this cave. You would really have to be hiking around and looking around to be in this cave. So they were very surprised to find something like this in there. One of the guys is like, we should take this home.
No.
And the other guy goes, are you psychotic?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Don't touch that.
Yeah.
And the other guy goes, oh, I'm going to take it home. And he picks it up and takes it home with him. Yeah. A few days after he's had this object in his possession, the friend calls the other friend and says, I think this thing is haunted, which is crazy because that friend, previous to this, did not believe in anything paranormal. Non-believer completely. So this one friend was very surprised to hear this reaction in him saying that it's haunted.
I would literally not be surprised. I'd be like, yeah, no duh. It's haunted. You took the little buddy out of his natural habitat.
Yeah. If you find something in a cave in the woods, doesn't look like it's supposed to be there, don't touch it. Okay? Don't take it home.
Just in general, if you find something that's the whole thing about camping, right? You gotta leave it better than you found it. Just leave the little buddy there. He's fine. He's not hurting anybody as far as we know. So leave him there.
He might hurt you.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what they say about what happened. It started out just as knocks and banging, but he said that by Wednesday, he started waking up in the middle of the night feeling like someone was watching him. This kept happening throughout the week, and every time he'd wake up, he would smell a really strong smell like pond water. Then the statue moved from his desk into his living room. Every night since then, it's moved into a different room than he's left it. Someone started knocking on his door at 3 o'clock in the morning, but when he opened the door, nobody was there. He has motion detection lights weren't on, and he said that when he opened the door, he immediately got the feeling that he messed up. He's like, I just opened the door. Something is really in my house now. This is not good. He was so freaked out by that he stayed up the rest of the night. He ended up going to a movie to keep himself awake that day. And finally he returns home, goes to sleep. And then he's woken up at 10 p.m. to his dog barking like crazy. His dog would not go anywhere near this statue. At first he thought, oh, well, maybe my dog's moving it, but his dog would not go anywhere near this thing. So he wakes up, his dog is going crazy. He smells a super strong pond water smell, gets up, leaves the bedroom, and there's muddy footprints, like barefoot footprints, everywhere.
No.
When he gets near the statue, which had moved again, he heard breathing. Yeah. After consulting experts, the men decided to go back to the roommate's apartment. He left. He stays with his friend. They decide to go back to the apartment to pick up the crone and take it back, put it back where they found it, and apologize to it.
Mm-hmm.
So they get to the house. The dog won't even go in the house. Dog wants nothing to do with its own home. They go inside. The crone is not where it was when he left the house. It is across the way, sitting underneath a giant crack in the drywall. Like it had flown, hit the wall, cracked the drywall, and dropped down to rest. While they're looking at it, they just happen, I guess, to turn and look in their living room, and they see the figure of a woman crouched in the corner. She's very old. She is dripping wet. She is naked, and she has glowing eyes. And they say, nope, absolutely not. And they run out of there. They contact the owner of another traveling museum that collects things like this, and he agrees to take it off their hands because they're saying either we're going to send it to you or we're going to burn it. And he goes, don't burn it.
Or just
Don't
put
do
it back. Go with plan A. Go with that one. Put it back.
They did not want to like have it in their possession long enough to hike all the way out there. They did not want it. They wanted to get rid of it. So he agrees to take it. So they ship it off to him. Can you imagine just like being a mail carrier and carrying that package and have no idea what you're holding on to? So the guy gets it, opens it up, and that night, let's see. That night after investigating the noise, the man also... Oh, sorry. They hear a noise. Him and his wife are sitting in the living room. They hear a noise in another room. The guy goes to investigate. When he's coming back, he nearly steps on a little tiny plastic Jesus that is lying on the floor.
Another little buddy.
Another little buddy. This plastic figurine is normally found nailed to a crucifix. And he says, as I turned him over in my hands, I realized that he was missing an arm. On the complete opposite side of the room, swinging silently on a cross hung in the corner, was Jesus's missing appendage. Something had not only managed to pull Christ from the crucifix without removing it from the wall, but it had thrown the figure across the room. I've still never been able to find the nails from Jesus's hands and feet, and sitting directly below the now desecrated cross was the crone. Yeah. They immediately decide to set up surveillance on the crone 24 hours a day via motion-activated trail cams. They didn't get anything for 2 months, and then one night between 3 and 4 a.m., they get 3 hits. The first 2 photos, they don't really notice much, maybe a couple light anomalies, but it could be dust, it could be whatnot. The third photo, they realized that the crone had very slightly moved all by itself.
No.
Yep. 2 weeks after that, the husband gets called in by his wife and to the living room, and she says, "Why are you getting on the furniture after you've showered?" And he says, "What are you talking about?" And she points to a barefoot, wet footprint on the back of their couch. For 2 weeks after this, their house smells like horrible pond water, musty, wet dog, nasty. And they just have this overwhelming paranoia feeling following them around for 2 weeks. So finally, they decide to sit that thing down and have a talk with it, because they're done. It's interfering with their work, and that's not acceptable. And they have a little museum of haunted stuff.
Of course they do.
Yeah.
I have an opinion, but of course they do.
What do you got?
Put it back. I'm gonna have a sit down. I took you from your home, and I have a feeling. I have questions about the origin of this, if we know it or not. Mm-hmm. But like, you took it from its home, and then these people kidnapped it from where it was living. And then instead of putting it back and apologizing, they went and they sent it off to another place. They did a trade with it. And now they're like, "Oh, you're inconveniencing us." Like, it's a little victim of kidnapping. It's gonna fight back as it should.
It's not happy.
No, I wouldn't be either. Justice for my little buddy. That's all I'm saying.
So they decide to sit this thing down. He goes, he grabs it from where it's sitting, brings it into the living room, slams it down on the table, and sits on the couch next to it, and is like, "Listen, we're gonna have a talk, okay? We are allowing you to stay in our home." Joan, I'm loving your reactions. He goes, "If we would have left you with those hikers, they would have burned you. If we would have turned you over to a priest, they would have bound you and buried you. We're allowing you to chill in our house, rent free. You don't pay no bills."
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I want to go home. What? Anyway.
And he says, you can continue to live here as long as you behave, but if you don't start behaving, you're going in the box. And the box is where all of the naughty artifacts go. They get their own little, kind of like Annabelle's box.
So now we're putting it in solitary confinement? We're imprisoning it?
Yep.
Because we've put it into a society that doesn't work out for it?
Justice for little buddy.
Justice for little buddy? I have feelings. Okay.
Yeah, this is some this is an abusive, like Stockholm syndrome. Like you're just gonna keep it in your house and you're just gonna expect it to love you? I don't think so.
I'm more going with, and hear me out, theory, white savior complex.
You could have been burned. You could have been bound and buried. But no, you get to live in my house rent-free.
You could have gone to a worse owner. Or you could have lived your life out in your little cave in the Catskills.
Learn to assimilate or... Anyway.
We've got some heavy feelings about this.
Oh, I got a lot. They're big. Oh, I already had therapy today. I can't go back and be like, listen what they did to this statue.
How dare they? Okay, so as soon as he says the words, the box, the threat is out there. They start hearing rushing water from their utility room, and they've been dealing with like a leaky, bursty pipe in that area. So they both jump up, run to that area, expecting to find a burst pipe. And as soon as they walk in, they don't hear anything. And then they hear, there was no water, but behind us, back in the living room, we could hear the dull thud of something hitting the floor. The crone had managed to roll off the coffee table and under our television stand. So the husband goes over to pick it up. He kneels down, and he hears his wife kind of like scream and cry out. And he looks up, and she's got both of her hands holding up the TV. So as he went to bend down, their TV started falling on top of his head. And if his wife was not there to catch the TV, it could have seriously injured him.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and he was like, in the box it is. And it went in the box.
Come on.
Okay.
Yep. So they put it in the box, and eventually they decide to start taking it. They have a traveling museum. They decide to start taking it around in a traveling museum, but it is one of those artifacts that people are not allowed to touch. They're only allowed to look at.
But somehow they can get it on a plane and everything, and it's fine.
Yeah.
So now they're using it for their own financial benefit, even though it can't behave and it's not allowed in normal society. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as people don't touch it. People get really bad senses about it. They experience strange symptoms around the object. Most common were burning sensations in the eyes, as if the statue is trying to avert the gaze of curious onlookers, as well as overwhelming fear and anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you took it from its home.
Psychics and sensitives in particular had the most visceral reaction to the crone. Some believed it was created as a vessel for inhuman spirits. Some believe it was a curse intended to blind and kill an unlucky victim. Acclaimed psychic Chip Coffey wanted to straight up exorcise the figure with holy water blessed by the Pope himself.
Chip's on a lot of stuff.
One gifted, sensitive, and medium was kind enough to spend some time reading the crone for us at a paranormal conference and presented us with a few interesting ideas. She believes that whatever is attached to the crone is an it and not a she.
Okay.
That's where little buddy comes from. And that this particular vessel and cave was used several times over the course of many years. The purpose wasn't always the same, but the carving and the entity attached to it was. This would explain the mismatched age of the carving, nails, and rope. She also mentioned that whatever was contained within the crone knew she could see it and explain its purpose, and the entity wasn't happy about it. So basically, this little entity inside this crone thing does not want you to look at it, does not want any sensitive person or psychic looking at it, reading it. It wants to go back to its home.
So
My pronouns are none. Do not perceive me.
do not perceive me. You know what? Being perceived is really difficult. Through your research, did anyone have any theories about like how this came to actually be? Like, is it attached to any cultures or anything like that?
I didn't find anything. I didn't do a whole lot of research into it. I believe there's a movie that goes into more detail,
Okay.
but all I know is that the age of the carving and the nails and the rope were all different, and a lot of people agree that it's more about the intention that it was created with, and it was very obviously created with a lot of intention. This was hand carved.
Yeah.
It probably took a long time to carve. Whoever put the nails into the eyes was driving them in with intention with every nail. So whether or not, some people believe that satanic goings on were happening in these caves. So some people believe that it was, satanic. Some people believe that it was voodoo. Whether or not it was created with that, it was given intention. And a lot of people, that's the most important thing, is what is the intent of this object? And it was not created with a good intention.
Possibly. Hear me out. So with not having any knowledge about this, I actually didn't know about this one, as I stated before. Looking at the image, it is hand carved. There are 3 nails in each eye. They look like they could be iron nails, as well as a rope around. It looks like a poppet to me. So something that you would do like observational magic onto. Or that's not the word for it, but like you apply things onto it for magic. But the thing is with magic, sometimes it's not as direct, like as like, oh, I want to blind you, so I'm gonna put nails in your eyes. But sometimes they have figurative meanings to it. I don't want to say voodoo because I don't know enough about it, but it does look similar to some of the poppets that I saw in the voodoo museums in New Orleans. So maybe something from a similar culture as that. And it just seems real weird to me if it does come from an Afrocentric culture and an Afrocentric belief in magic, that people who are in the Catskills, so we can guess their complexion, taking it from its home, trading it, and then treating it in inhumane ways, but it's not human. So like, let's say not respectful ways.
Yeah.
And then parading it around for profit after it's not behaved a certain way seems very almost on the nose for experiences that we've seen those cultures go through, and their customs go through as well. So maybe you should just put it back and don't touch it and apologize. I actually apologize even before. And I think that's why I get like really, like, I don't know, like you're telling me the story. I'm not scared. I'm angry. It feels disrespectful on so many levels. Mm-hmm. So even if it didn't have bad intentions, you have now put bad intentions on it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it really does give that off. Like, the most common thing people experience when looking at it is a burning sensation in their eyes. Like, don't look at me.
Yeah.
I don't want you near me. Don't look at me. When sensitives and psychics try and read it, they really get the feeling of, I don't want you looking at me. I don't like you.
Yeah. It wasn't meant to be. Like, if it was actually in a cave, like, you have to go inside the cave. It wasn't meant to be there. It was probably left at a cave in the idea that that's a portal to another plane. And this is just, like, from my basic understanding of, like, witchcraft and things like that. I can't claim that I know where it's from. I'm just guessing based on its appearance. But yeah, poppets are used quite often in a lot of different ritual things, and different symbols can be used on the poppet. It's not like, it doesn't look like a voodoo doll. I want to get that out of the way. And I'm not saying it's a voodoo doll, but there's applied magic. It looks like it's being done. And I think it's a little messed up that, yeah, they took it. They're feeling, there's that whole idea that, like, in magic, whatever you do comes back to you tenfold. So they did something, it's coming back to them tenfold. And instead of correcting their actions and bringing balance back, they are blaming it. So yeah, justice for little buddy. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. This part might make you feel a little bit better. There's one more thing on this.
Okay.
They ended up setting up a 24-hour live video stream of this and one other artifact. And it said on average they had about 100 people watching this thing at any one given point. They gave people the option to send in ideas for content. So they suggested setting up things like trigger objects. So they got some holy water, they got some nails, like what were in its eyes. There is a video. To me, it just looks like a nail falling down, but people say that it's like swatting the nail away from it. But one person who liked to watch this video quite often, almost daily, ended up sending them an email and saying, I am not going to be watching this anymore. And she had been woken up in the middle of the night about 4:40 a.m. and she felt something sitting on her back. And at the time she thought it was their 2-year-old child. But then she felt some leg-like appendages, go down her side, and she felt it slide off of her and realized it was not her child. Right after that, there was a thud in her living room, and her dogs actually got off of their beds and went to pursue the noise. And she realized that she had been dreaming something when she woke up. And what she was dreaming is that there was a woman whispering in her ear that she had taken the missing crucifix nails from that crucifix I told you about earlier and put them into the husband's mouth while he was asleep. He had swallowed the nails, and she was very proud of what she did. And the woman felt like she needed to tell them that, and was like, I'm not going to interact with this anymore. I've brought stuff home with me before. I don't need this in my home. I want to protect my children, but I wanted you to know that something was telling me that it put the nails in your mouth while you were sleeping. That's why you can't find them. You swallowed them. And they're proud of what they did. And he remembered back to when they first got that incident happened. And right after that, like the next day, he had intense, sharp, stabbing pains in his stomach for a week, and even contemplated going to the emergency room a couple times because of the pain. And he had never connected the dots before, but now he's genuinely concerned that really did happen to him because he couldn't find the nails, and his stomach hurt like a stabbing pain for about a week.
I think they would come out eventually, sir. I'm not a medical professional, but I think they do come out eventually.
Go through your intestine.
Yeah. Owie.
I don't know how big they were. I don't know how large this crucifix was. I mean, usually they're not huge. And the nails would probably be pretty small, so it could have been something that caused irritation, but wouldn't have been noticed, especially if you weren't looking for something. I feel like people probably aren't doing dissections in the bathroom.
I mean, if I thought I swallowed nails, I'd look through my poop.
But he had no idea. At
That's
the time.
true.
He had no idea why his stomach was hurting.
That's true. I feel like you'd hear like a different sound hitting the porcelain than usual.
Yeah.
I feel
mean,
like
if they're-
there'd be a clink instead of a plump.
Or
I
a different
think-
color.
Yeah.
I think we're thinking of very large nails, though. And
Okay.
if I'm thinking of like,
Oh, like the little
Even
tiny.
even if a crucifix was a foot tall, like the little teeny tiny nails that would be going through the hands and the feet, they're going to be like itty bitty.
Okay. Okay.
So something that could probably easily be concealed
Yeah.
within a package.
So the other reason besides looking at the poppet itself that I thought maybe an Afrocentric belief in magic is a lot of them also include parts of Christianity that like they had brought because they were forced to change religions or change belief systems. They just carried that over, and that's why you see elements of that. I thought the Jesus, like going to Jesus specifically, was also like a portion of that. Like, oh, I'm gonna bring my other little buddy. You'll see. He'll help me. He'll help me out. Jesus, get down here.
Yeah, Santeria is another
Yeah. So,
semi.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So little buddy might have gotten some justice.
Good.
Might have swallowed some nails.
If you've gotten this far in this video, please write hashtag justice for little buddy, so we all know. I'm serious. That I'm gonna have some
Yeah.
feelings the rest of the night about that.
I don't. If I came across something like that, I would not touch it. You could not pay
No.
me to touch it. No, thank you.
Why would you?
Put it back.
You said like I assume the two hikers were men because the audacity. I've never heard.
Sorry, Charlie.
It's.
I mean,
I'm not saying that Charlie would do that. I know from some things that Charlie seems to like to hike. So Charlie, would you touch random statuettes in the forest?
no, I mean, I might try and take a picture, but like, no, there's a purpose behind that for sure. Like, that's there for a reason.
Yeah.
Not touching that.
Just saying, like, there was a girl on TikTok who like grabbed something from the woods and was like showing people, and everyone on TikTok was like, "Put that back," and she like came on TikTok and like made a whole apology, like, "I'm so sorry. You're right. I shouldn't have taken it. It's clearly an offering for something. I didn't mean to do that." So
I feel
Yeah.
like I remember seeing that. Yeah. Everyone's like, put that back. Do not touch that.
yeah, it's like these like the same group of people who like if you have beliefs in the Fae, you don't stop like everything. That is one of my favorite TikTok trends, but like you don't step in a ring of mushrooms because it's a fairy ring. But there's this string of TikToks where like something weird is happening in nature and people are like, "That's a Fae trap. I'm gonna go touch it." It's like,
Don't do that.
don't do that. But it's like
seen
the
any of
funny.
Have you seen any of the new Doctor Who season?
No, I have not.
Okay,
Is there
highly
Fae
recommend.
traps in it?
One of the episodes it's called 73 Yards, and it is so good. You would absolutely love it. But yeah, the first thing that happens is they're in Wales and they step in a fairy circle. No. Consequences.
Yeah.
Many consequences. So go check that out.
No, I will. I haven't watched Doctor Who since halfway through Matt Smith's season, so
Don't worry. Just
okay. I'm just gonna
watch
pop
that
right
and
in.
you're fine. Yeah, you won't miss anything. It's a standalone episode. It's fantastic.
I love that. I love that. Do you have anything else, Kay? Because we are up on our hour, so if you
I would just say that if anybody listening enjoyed this episode and wants to hear more about haunted artifacts, let us know. And if there is a haunted artifact you would like to cover, let us know and we will cover it.
nice. I feel like everyone had cats pop up in their video, and I don't have one. I mean, I don't know if you can see him. I have the head of a cat. It's not a real head of a cat, but
Okay.
You should just get a cat, Joan.
we will when we don't have a dog that's gonna chase it everywhere. I want a cat. I grew up with cats. Justin has never owned a cat, so, but I want one.
Come on, Justin.
I know. His mom just liked pugs, so they've had a lot of pugs growing up. Well, he had 2 in total, so I shouldn't say a lot, but yeah. Little pugs.
They live forever.
Yeah. The second one's still kicking right now, so.
Oh my gosh.
He's 6 months younger than my dog, so he's going to turn 10 on Christmas. So, yeah. But, yeah. Do we want to go into final thoughts? I will go last, even though I feel like we aired a lot of grievances out tonight.
Did you want to go, Charlie, or do you want me to?
Well, so, I mean, literally when you were talking, Joan, about the cave kind of like as a portal, especially with that last one, it kind of got me thinking, like, maybe it's not even so much just the item itself or the doll itself. Maybe it's like protecting us from what's in the cave, like keeping something in.
Oh, and the
something
crone's
like
like a nature spirit?
Maybe.
You can't see I'm doing dinosaur hands, which is clearly nature spirit.
Yeah, exactly. We've all seen nature spirits. We know that.
We all know. Okay.
And then the other thing was, I keep going back to pop culture, but I think that's my thing. The show Warehouse 13, it's all about artifacts that are imbued with some kind of energy. And they just have this purple goo, and you just dip the thing in the goo, and the energy is dispersed. I was like, you just need some purple goo. But I guess that's not actually a real thing. Just call the team. They'll just dip it in the goo. It's fine.
They'll just goo it up. Gross. I never want to say that again. Okay. Would you like to go?
I guess it's my turn.
Yeah.
My apologies.
It's okay.
I don't like dolls. I don't like haunted dolls. But I will say I do like Robert's little sailor outfit. I think it's pretty cute.
Oh, okay.
And I sorry, Joe.
It's okay.
I watched the Annabelle movies before I saw what Annabelle really looked like, and when I saw what she really looked like, I kind of giggled to myself a little bit. Because if you haven't seen her before you watch the movies, you're not expecting what she actually looks like. I'm like, I really can't take you seriously. Yeah, and if you come across things in nature or anywhere, don't touch stuff that's not yours. Just leave it alone.
Yeah, don't touch it. Leave it. Okay. For my final thought, first off, thank you, Kay, for sharing this with us. I'm excited to meet you, Robert, as excited as I could be. As I mentioned before, if you move, I will vomit. Actively and assuredly. Your sailor outfit's fine. I just think it's weird that you match with your buddy who had to have an argument with his wife about where you sleep at night. I don't argue with my husband about where his friends sleep at night. That's all I'm saying. And Peg's fine. Just Peg. And you know what? I think she's maybe just misunderstood. And overall, as I've mentioned, justice for little buddy. Don't take things out of the woods. Leave things where they are. It's very disrespectful. And that's what it comes down to. You were being disrespectful little shits. And now you have to pay the consequences, and don't be mean back because you were disrespectful. But
leave only footprints. Don't take haunted idols out of the woods.
Yes, or they're going to leave wet footprints on your furniture. Exactly. And you better hope you don't have all these millennials with their velvet couches. You want a wet crone?
Dry cleaned.
Stomping all over it? Yeah. Consider your actions.
That was kind of one thought, was like, why didn't they try just putting it by a pond, so then the pond smell wouldn't be as noticeable? There wouldn't be the wet footprints are fine. Put it outside maybe. Maybe I don't.
Yeah, don't lock it in a box. Put it back.
Yeah.
Put it back. Also, don't threaten. Yeah. That story was just audacity after audacity. I can't. Can it like imagine if there's like a teenager going through a rough time and they're like, you're allowed to live under my roof, and it's like, you're not my real dad. That's how I feel.
You're going in the box. Son.
Yeah, you're gonna go in the box. Shut up. I half expected you to be like, it like they ran into the other room hearing the water and they came back and the statue had 2 middle fingers up.
I was shocked by, like you said, the audacity, because I mean, I just don't touch anything that I'm not supposed to. Like, while doing research for Peggy, I did not look at Peggy's eyes. You know, I don't like anything like that. Whether or not I believe it, I don't like it, and I'm not gonna do anything people say not to do. But to speak so disrespectfully to a potentially malevolent spirit,
Yeah.
shocked me.
That did not have the ability to say, actually, it did say it did not want to be there multiple times. And you're like, be thankful, because it could have been worse for you. Shut up. Shut up. Or it could have been just fine and you left me where I lived. Jerk.
Did anyone else imagine the box like the Chokey from Matilda?
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. I did.
You're going in the Chokey.
Gonna go in the chokey. That are like, I thought like the wine, the really nice wine boxes they have like with straw in it, but like how Dracula was on a ship, like that's what I kind of imagined. Okay, they just I'm gonna be so angry about this the rest of the night.
So sorry, Jo.
No, it's okay. I'm gonna go up and tell Justin, and he's gonna be like, okay, what do you want to do about it? And I'll go, nothing. I just want to explain. I'm angry.
Like, subscribe, follow, join our Patreon so we can pay for an additional therapy session for Joan.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Or just, yeah,
Join the
don't
Discord and
tell me
come
who
in our
your therapists are.
Discord.
No, that.
Yeah. Come into our Discord and we'll host a therapy session for Joan about little buddy.
Oh, we are not medical professionals as HR and legal. We cannot promise that.
We're gonna take care of you, Joan.
We can have a therapeutic session. It is not therapy. It is therapeutic. Yes. As mentioned before, you can watch this back on YouTube, or you can join us for live, not next week, but the week after. And we will talk to y'all then. Okay. Bye.